Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy MumboElite here. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. Welcome to another Motivation Monday. So now, in the past Motivation Mondays, you've seen kind of me answering advice for you guys, maybe some situations I've gone through in my life and how it can affect you. This one I'm going to kind of talk about myself, but I feel like me talking about myself is going to help you guys out too, because I feel like a lot of you might be going through similar things or have similar experiences as I do. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff that's been happening in my life lately, and I just want to let you know right off the bat, I'm a Christian. I practice Christianity, and you're going to see it throughout the course of this video. I'm going to bring it into play. If you have a problem with Christianity or you don't consider yourself Christian, I do ask that you just listen to my messages and look for all the things maybe non-Christianity based, and you can still get a word out of it. I don't want you to just judge based off the fact of maybe it's a different religion than you practice, because you know what? Maybe at the end of the day, after you hear this, your mind might change. I'm going to just start talking, guys. I'm going to talk about what's been going on in my life. And the focus of this video is going to be maybe a little bit over the place. I really don't want to cut. I just want this to be straightforward, kind of just me speaking from the heart. And it's going to take me a little bit of time to just think about some things, and then I might be going all over the place. But I just want to talk about, mainly to start off, that I'm going to call it a storm. Some bad things happen in your life, maybe just one little incident that doesn't seem too big, then another one, and before you know it, all these things that are happening in your life just seems like you have no control over it anymore. It starts all going together, and it just picks up, and it becomes just a storm that kind of just wrecks the base of your life, and you feel like you're unable to live it anymore. And a lot of stuff has happened to me this semester that's kind of knocked me down, but I've used my faith and some good friends around me and YouTube to pick me back up. But one of them in particular has been my grandma. If you guys didn't see the last Motivation Monday, it's more of me saying there wasn't going to be a Motivation Monday because I just wasn't feeling it. I was in a really bad place. So if you guys don't know anything about my grandma, I'm just going to kind of talk about it real quick. She's doing a lot better. For all of you who are praying over her, asking about her, I can't thank you guys enough. She suffered a stroke. She was at her group home. I won't even call it a group home. It's not like an old people home, but it's kind of like old people apartment living, if that makes sense. Like, they each have their own room, but they're all connected, kind of. So if something would happen to one person, it would be very easy for another person to notice it and get help. So what ended up happening is, we believe my grandma was on the way to go get her mail, and her morning walk group that she normally went with, she said no to them that morning because her legs weren't feeling good. I guess she was doing a lot of stuff the day before, and she was just going to stay kind of in her room, but she decided, I guess, to go get her mail. And as she was walking to go get her mail, she went over to the elevator, and that's kind of where they found her. She was on the ground. She was unconscious. She wasn't talking. They called 911. They got an ambulance there. The lady ended up calling my aunt. My aunt didn't answer, so they ended up calling my mother. And my mom saw that was a number that she didn't know, so she wasn't going to pick it up. But she ended up picking it up, and it was that bad news of what happened to my grandma. So when the 911 people got there, they started talking to her a little bit, and basically, as they got her into the ambulance, she wasn't able to talk anymore. She was losing consciousness, and it just got downhill. Now, this happened the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so I was kind of mentally getting prepared to come back to school, and this happened. And it just put me in a very bad place. I was thinking about just stopping YouTube altogether for a bit of time, because this event that I didn't even think would happen just became the storm in my life, just overtook everything. The importance of YouTube, it didn't matter anymore. Like, one of my loved ones' life was on the line, and I didn't know what to do. School didn't become a priority to me at that moment in time. I ended up getting an A on my test that I was studying for. That I was super worried, but we'll get to that later. But it just, everything kind of came together. I had YouTube to worry about. I felt like I was going to let people down if I took time off. I felt like I was letting my grandma down if I didn't come back every single weekend to see her in the hospital, I felt like I was letting my parents down for helping me pay for my education and me not performing maybe well on a test. And just everything came together, and it was just this big storm. And when times like this happen, you normally call on your faith. A lot of people who are religious call on their faith to get them through these hard times. Now, some of the issues that people face, and I'm a person who's gone through this before, and I hope after you guys listen to this video, you kind of just think about it in a new light if you struggle with this. Faith shouldn't be a thing that you practice when times are hard. You see a lot of times when people's loved ones' lives are on the line, they start praying for maybe the first time in years, they start going to church. It seems like when bad things happen, they call on the Lord, or they call on prayer, or they call on whatever way they get through it to help them get through it. And it shouldn't be a last-ditch effort, It should be something that every morning you wake up and you pray that you're alive another day. Because it's honestly a fantastic feeling, to wake up and know that you were put on this earth with a purpose and you have a mission, you can go out and live it. Now, when this stuff happened with my grandma, I was in a very bad place. I was praying a lot, but I was losing hope, I was like, Lord, why would you put this? My grandma is one of the nicest people on this earth. Why would you put her through this pain, Why would you put her through this suffering? Like, what's the point of it? And at the time, I didn't think she was going to live. She had to go into surgery, but they had to wait 72 hours for her medication to wear off. Otherwise, if they would have rushed her into surgery and she would have started bleeding, they wouldn't have been able to stop it. So those 72 hours, the first 72 hours, they did not think she was going to survive. And all these questions were going through my head. And I didn't know how I was going to deal with it if she didn't survive. I didn't know how my mom was going to deal with it. I didn't know how my dad was going to deal with it. All my grandma's siblings, just all these people that my grandma has touched in her lifetime. How could the Lord let this happen? And I couldn't see. It's hard to see past like these struggles. And if you go through depression, if you go through bad periods of your life, you can't see past like today. Like there is no tomorrow. And that's the worst feeling in the world. I've had some feelings like that before. I know a lot of you guys had. And it honestly sucks. And I just want to open up real quick with a passage from the Bible. If you guys do want to read with me or try to find it later. It's going to be a verse out of Matthew. Let me find it real quick. It's going to be out of Matthew 8. Just a little context. So Jesus is going to be getting onto a boat with his disciples, the people who are following him, learning from his word. And I'm just going to kind of read what the Bible has to say about it, and we can talk about it. Let me know down in the comments if you have maybe some replies to this, or you'd want to see more Bible readings like included in the end of the Motivation Mondays. I'm down to add this in because I really do think it brings everything together. So it says in Matthew 8, the calming of the storm at sea. He got into a boat and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a violent storm came up on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by waves, but he was asleep. They came and woke him, saying, Lord, save us. We are perishing. He said to them, Why are you terrified, O you of little faith? Then he got up, rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So just kind of think about that for a second. I'll give you just a second to reflect. Why were all these people, this is just a food for thought. There might not be an answer to this. But just kind of think about this. The Lord's disciples, the people who saw Jesus, decided to follow him, saw him do miracles in the past, and even miracles to come that they didn't even know were going to happen yet. How did they doubt a man that they saw so much greatness from when times got hard? If you don't understand kind of what I just read, Jesus got onto the boat with them. And Jesus was super tired, so he went to go take a nap in the bottom of the boat. So he was just kind of laying there. And then all of a sudden, the storms are coming, and it starts, hitting the boat, and the boat's rocking back and forth. Water's coming in the boat. So all the disciples are trying to get water outside of the boat. They're trying to throw it out so the boat doesn't go under. And they're just looking at Jesus like, Jesus, what are you doing? You're not helping out. You're here with us, but you're doing absolutely nothing. And that's when your faith gets tested, you know? When times are hard, we start blaming the Lord for these bad times. Like, and this is a question for maybe if you're watching this and you're not religious. I hear a lot of people say, you know, why would the Lord let this happen to innocent people? Why would these bad times happen to people? If the Lord actually existed, if God existed, if religion was supposed to be a good thing. And my answer to that, the Bible's answer to this, and a lot of people's answer to this that you might not be happy with, but, you know, we live in an imperfect world, you know? There is sin. There's sin all around us. We live it every single day of our lives. Me, I sin a lot. You sin a lot. Everybody sins. And this world is just filled with imperfect people and imperfect things. And it's bound to have events happen that aren't the best outcomes. But the greatest thing about all of these is we get to leave it all behind. Because a person, Jesus, decided that he was going to put his life on the line, risk his own life, die for our sins, so that we could have eternal life in heaven. And I think that's one of the greatest things that someone could do in the world. That's honestly, like, that should make you happy. If that doesn't make you, like, rejoice and make you just think how little your problems are right now, that's crazy. And I'm just sitting here like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I haven't gone to bed yet. I was going to record this later in the day, but my sleep schedule is kind of messed up now, studying for finals and streaming, so no one was down here, so I kind of came to the basement. I'm recording this. I honestly I'm so happy right now because so much has been going on in my life, like with my grandma, with school, and it honestly felt like it was all hitting at the same time, and it was all too much. And then you just read something like this passage from the Bible, and what I suggest you do is if you want to maybe get started reading the Bible and you don't know how to, I wouldn't say just read it cover to cover, because that's over 1,000 pages and you're not going to get very far. What I would say you do is look up Bible verses online. There's a lot of Psalms readings where if you look up maybe Bible passage for depression, Bible passage for this, Bible passage for this, you can find so many Bible passages of something that you're going through and what the Bible has to say about it. And then you can go kind of find that part in the Bible. You can kind of work on going through it. Like we just read from Matthew. If we go back to Matthew, maybe we, instead of reading that small chunk, we go see like the events that happened before and after. And the cool thing about that, and if you really look at it, is the disciples, like I was talking about, doubted Jesus. And instantly after Jesus rebuked the storm, they went to the other side of the island, and Jesus actually went up to a guy and healed them. The guy was possessed by a demon. He ended up healing the guy. The demons came out. They jumped in. I don't know if it was sheep or like pigs. They jumped in an animal, like the animals jumped off a cliff, which was kind of weird. But fact is, Jesus performed a miracle, and he keeps going on and performing miracles. And that's the great thing, is like, with faith, believing in Jesus, believing that your life will get better, even in hard times, is what you need to be doing. And that honestly can get you through it. And if you're a borderline Christian, if you're a borderline person who maybe goes to church, doesn't know exactly what they believe in, my question to you is, why not give it a try? You know, are you afraid that people are going to laugh at you? Are you afraid that maybe you're doing something wrong that you might lose some friends? Because honestly, it's only made my friendships stronger. I've only seen people around me become better people. I've only seen good come out of bad situations. I've never seen a bad situation that I've been in the past 2 years of my life. When I've been in college and I've seen the Lord work in so many ways in my life, I've never seen it go negative from a negative. It's always gone from a negative to a positive. I just want to let you guys think about that, you know? Let me know. It's already been almost 15 minutes, so I'm going to let you guys go. But let me know if you like this kind of Motivation Monday. This was a little bit about me, like I said, things I'm going through. But maybe if we're talking about depression, we're talking about different things, if I can bring a Bible passage up at the end of it for the people who want that extra support, want that extra resource to go to, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I would love to do that. This is kind of like almost a small group leadership thing that I would be doing at my school. But instead, I picture this as like maybe a large group leadership because I have an audience of people around the world. And even better, I have an audience of people who aren't all Catholic, who aren't all Christian, who aren't all any of these denominations of Christianity, you know? That can be cool. Seeing someone who maybe doesn't believe at all, and I could be that person who makes them believe, makes them start going to church, makes them start getting involved in community, and then maybe they tell someone else. And I find that so interesting. I feel so much satisfaction out of it. I've seen it already happen with some people. And I just want to say God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Yeah.